All right, and now joining me is Michael Kane. He's a Robert F. Kennedy Jr. supporter and the founder of the Teachers for Choice. Michael, how are you doing today?
Doing very good. Thanks so much for having me today.
RFK going to address the country tomorrow. Tell us, what should we be expecting on that?
Well, I don't have any inside information on what he's going to say. But on X today, there was a lot of explosion around the idea what if there's some sort of hybrid that is announced here? What if he announces, if I am on your ballot, vote for me, but if I am not on your ballot, vote for Donald Trump? This would throw a big monkey wrench in the lawfare plans of the DNC. We see the DNC going after Robert F. Kennedy Jr., going after Donald Trump, not wanting to win a fair fight at the ballot box. But if this happens, what do? They have cases against Kennedy in, I believe, 6 to 9 states. Are they going to want to take something like that? Again, I do not know if this is what Kennedy is going to say. I'm not with the campaign. But there's a lot of discussion today around, is that a possibility? Will this be just a full endorsement for Donald Trump? The nation needs to tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. and see.
And what about his supporters? What is the sentiment there? Any consensus among supporters about what he should do?
The supporters right now are confused. People are already going at each other's throats. It's just what happens in grassroots politics when things are unsure. I've been following Bobby Kennedy for over 15 years. I've been following this election and been trying to assist any way I can for over a year and a half, right at the moment he announced, maybe even before that. And I can say I've seen multiple times when you're like, why did Bobby say that? What is he going to do? This doesn't make sense. And every time I tell myself, I got to trust Bobby, I got to trust Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's always really come through. So that's my message to Kennedy supporters out there. Take a breath. Let's give Bobby his moment tomorrow at 2 p.m. and let's have some faith. This man is truly a remarkable American. And I have faith that he's going to take us in a good direction.
Now, if you can, Michael, would you mind giving us your best guess here? Is Kennedy going to endorse Trump?
My best guess is that it would be that sort of a hybrid, right? Where he's already on the ballot. He's been fighting to get on every single ballot across the country. And I don't think, in my opinion, that he's going to say, don't vote for me if I'm there. Because if he does get 5% of the vote nationally, this is a game changer. This would mean the We the People Party, one of the parties that have endorsed Kennedy, has a shot at getting national recognition as a party, which gets matching funds. And then I do believe even national ballot access. So that 5% number is critical. I would personally be shocked if he pulled out, because at his peak, Bobby was doing some 20% in the national polls. The idea that Bobby can't get 5% nationally in this election, I think, is a silly idea. So my best guess is that he comes forth with something along those lines of both. I was just in Chicago during the DNC, and there was dozens and dozens of Bobby Kennedy supporters rallying at the DNC, rallying at the Bean, which is at Millennium Park in Chicago, a legendary park, rallying at the beach for him. There is just a strong, strong sentiment of supporters for him, and it represents millions of people across the country. He's gotten over 1 million signatures to get on the ballot across the country. There's a lot of people, including myself, in a major way, that want to go into that voting booth and vote for Bobby Kennedy on November 5th.
All right, so to your point, here's my question. Are Trump and Kennedy close enough on policy so that Kennedy supporters would vote for Trump?
In some areas, yes. I think you are going to see that. I think there is also a real loathing, I might even call it, for the DNC right now. The DNC is swearing we need to save democracy in this election, and their method for doing that is destroying democracy and going into courtrooms and attacking people who have every right to be on the ballot, such as Donald Trump, such as Bobby Kennedy, Jill Stein. Even there's other people that they are attacking millions and millions of dollars to limit our choices. I think that alone is making so many people. I've spoken to Democrats, lifelong Democrats, that are saying, my God, like what's happened to my party? We even had Democrats at the DNC at McCormick Place that came up to us and talked to us and said, you're right, he should be able to debate. Bobby should be involved in this process. They want to make it seem like the coronation of Queen Kamala Harris has everybody on board. That is not the case. So I do think what Bobby has to say is going to resonate with millions of people. And as we know, this election is going to come down to swing states. A lot of people are saying it's going to come down to Pennsylvania. What just happened in Pennsylvania? The DNC kicked Bobby off the ballot, or is within inches of kicking him off the ballot. He flew into Pennsylvania the other day to testify. His flight was canceled the day before. And since he was a few minutes late, the judge didn't let him testify. So if in Pennsylvania he doesn't show up on the ballot, but then he then says who people should vote for there, who he believes. Yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very powerful potential there. But once again, I just want to just reiterate, I have no inside knowledge. I'm just following this very closely.
Right, right, of course. And I also want to talk to you about polling. Do you think up to this point, RFK has been taking votes away from Trump or Harris?
I think it's been both. I think we've seen that the polls have shown a pretty even amount of voters being taken from both sides of this equation. There was a certain time where it seemed more Harris, another time where it seemed more Trump. So it is a lively situation. It's also a little bit difficult to trust the polls. But voters on all sides have issues that aren't being addressed for them, whether they lean conservative, they lean liberal. The betrayal that voters are feeling all across the board, I think, is intense. However, the betrayal they're feeling from the DNC and the Democrats is something that has reached new lows.
All right, Michael, thank you very much for your comments today. Pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks for having me on.